I'd like to call the committee of the whole for the Village of Cary for Tuesday, June 1st, 2021 to order with roll call, please.
Allred,
Here.
Collier,
Here.
Savelli, here. McAlpine,
Here.
Linehammer, here.
Thank you. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving to the public comment section, there's nobody here that would like to address the.
There is somebody
I'm assuming
here.
Mr. Miller is not going to address the committee of the whole. So let's move forward to the discussion regarding furniture procurement for the new Cary Municipal Center. I believe Eric Morimoto is taking this.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Committee of the Whole. For this evening, on the agenda, we have a discussion on the Cary Municipal Center's furniture procurement process. With me this evening via Zoom, I have the team from FGM Architects that are responsible for the design of the facility, as well as our interior design and furniture process. We have Annabella Orlando and Megan Porter here as well, should there be any questions. Before we get into the furniture, we would do a little update on the progress of the municipal center itself. I'm sure as you're aware, as you've driven by the site, you've seen the rapid progress and the beginnings of what's going to be our beautiful new municipal center. Currently, the construction process is in the stage of installing the utilities. A lot of the interior plumbing, electrical, rough-ins, and roofing are currently underway. You can see in the animation there's been quite a substantial amount of work being done even through the winter time with the installation of the framing, the foundation, the flooring, decking, and all the way up to the current process, the current stage, where the exterior veneer brick and stonework is nearly completed, and the shift will then start to increase towards the interior work. The project is still on schedule for substantial completion this fall, and we're happy to say that at this point we're on schedule and as a whole within our available contingencies on budget. With regards to our furniture item that's for discussion this evening, a lot of the items that have been designed and that are being planned for the build out of the facility include items like chairs, guest lounge sofas, appliances, tables, and desks. Some of the renderings you see here from FGM and from the suppliers show the direction of the interior features that are being implemented. A lot of the items are going to be, or will be brand new and match the aesthetic that is in line with the modern, clean styling of the new building itself. Other items in the furniture package are the specialty storage and lockers. These include not only the items in the locker room itself for the officers, but storage in the specialty areas for evidence, booking, and high-density record storage. High-density record storage systems as well. As you noted in the packet, the item that we're bringing before you this evening is mainly due to just update the committee and advise the group that there has been some increases in prices since the original budgeting that was done back in 2020. Our master budget did include and account for the items that we have shown you just previously in the slides, but a number of factors have come up since then. 2020, as many people have known that are doing home improvements, have seen substantial price increases. Commodities have risen substantially between 2020 and 2021. Examples are lumber, which are up over 200% from last year, as well as steel, which has nearly tripled over the last 20-year average. And other items that affect furniture procurement, like fabrics, have also been impacted. And why are those increased? Supply chain disruptions. A lot of the news items that have occurred over the past year, like the Suez Canal blockage, the winter storm and extended power outages in Texas, as well as port congestion and other shipping delays, have all had a ripple effect into many of the everyday things that we purchase, not only as residents, but as builders and in the commercial construction end of the business. Pent-up demand as well with the number of people working remote and updating home offices, and the number of companies that are also reconfiguring their office spaces for the new normal, potential hybrid and in-person remote working. Combine that with the decreased efficiency in manufacturing, with the COVID-19 protocols for limiting building occupancies, as well as extra time for sanitizing, has also affected the unit prices. As you saw in the packet, we have 3 packages that are in the process that need to be initiated shortly in order to make sure that we get delivery at the appropriate time for our fall substantial completion. The major package includes the furniture, fixtures, and equipment, and some of the ancillary packages that are listed there are for the armory, police armory storage system, as well as our appliances. Based on the available quotes from these packages, which are procured through a master joint purchasing contract, so we're able to take advantage of scales of economy and get very favorable, at least the most favorable unit cost that we can at this point in the market. Despite that, the pricing right now compared to the master budget that was done over a year ago is about 35% higher than was originally anticipated. That is in line with the market increases that we see for these items and other items in general during this time of year, due to the factors I mentioned previously. But with that, we did have our design team take a look at other options that might help mitigate some of that. A lot of those items, things like removing some of the, let's say the nice to haves as opposed to need to haves, like padding on the chairs in the boardroom and training rooms, some of the separate lounge chairs and the freestanding chairs in the break rooms, electrical power, tabletop surfaces, benches in the lobbies for the bond out section of the police department or the police lobby, and as well as in the break room itself. Little items like that can be accomplished, but they don't make a very significant impact on the total cost. So with that, we are, as a staff and from our consultant, recommending that we stick with our recommended scope of purchasing for the furniture based on the representative images I showed earlier, and we would then account for the increased cost within what hopefully is available remaining amounts in our construction contingency. But should those need to be utilized for other unexpected items that might occur from now to the end of the project and construction, we do have the option and the opportunity for making some of this, or most of this difference up with our available money in the building fund. And with that, I can answer any questions that the committee might have. As I mentioned, Reagan and Annabella from FGM Architects are also on the Zoom to answer questions as well.
Anybody have any comments?
Eric, is there anything on the horizon right now on the construction end that we foresee being an increase that hasn't been gone through yet, or no?
Oh, sure. Nothing in particular that's jumping out. We've been close. We were in constant discussions and with our weekly coordination calls with FQC, our construction manager. Things are moving along pretty well. There hasn't been any major increases that have been encountered so far. One of the last remaining areas where you typically see a unexpected extra that would dip into the contingency would be once we start the paving operations. If there's any unsuitable soils that once they dig a little bit deeper from the mass grading that's occurred to start the pavement construction, something like that could pop up. But given the soil borings and the type of earth that we have in the area, we're not expecting that. But at this point, it's looking good so far.
And it shows that, and it says on here, we're within the budget of the 11.2 million. And even with the increase of 35%, we stay within that right now.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Right now, assuming that we don't need to utilize all of the remaining construction contingency, we would still be able to stay within that total.
Okay, thank you.
As Director Morimoto mentioned too, is that we do have dollars that are available in the building fund. That's kind of our additional safety net here as well. We have contingency within the 11.2, and then there's the safety net of the dollars that are within the building fund.
What is that total on the contingency on the construction side?
Eric, do you have that number offhand? Contingency within the 11.2?
I don't have it right in front of me, but it is,
It's like,
$500,000?
Half, I thought it was like
400,000?
Okay.
Okay, so we're running through
I'm guessing on
20
that.
some percent of
right,
that
roughly.
with this particular change. Okay.
That's a
Rough.
Sure.
guess.
a guesstimate, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I remember something, but like, it was close to $500,000.
Thank you.
And I agree, seeing that we have the contingencies in place, that's what they are here for.
Right.
To keep us on track with our budgeted amounts. I don't want to not finish the project. Therefore, I think that it's in our best interest to move forward because I don't anticipate people thinking the pricing is going to come down anytime soon. On the flip side, I think if we wait, we have the potential of being subjected to some additional increases, and I think that would not be in our best interest to do that.
I agree. I think we'll run out of supplies at some
I
point.
agree.
is the
The
problem.
supply chain, just in my business alone,
Yeah.
we're seeing the supply chain is coming to a screeching halt. Cost of goods and services is really escalating.
Same in mine. It's been horrendous.
It's
Manufacturing
unbelievable.
is rough. Real
Yeah.
rough. So,
Trustees Cavalier, Weinhammer, any comments?
I spoke to Jake about this earlier today, so I'm fine with it.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
I want to also add one more comment in looking at where we're at with the increase in prices. In addition to the value engineering and looking at things that maybe could come out if they needed to, we also did explore and did a little research on furniture leasing options. And it's one of the newer trends, I think, in the industry, especially in response to what has been going on with the pricing throughout the furniture industry. However, that one is not ideal to our particular situation, given that we are an entity that's going to move into this building and stay there very long term. We're not leasing an office space with a move that's likely in a couple of years. A lot of the specialty options and items that we have in the building, especially with the police department and the high density storage, they're not eligible for rental. And ultimately, you probably end up paying more given the life cycle of the pieces of furniture that we would specify in a rental versus purchase side.
I agree.
Agreed.
Thank you for looking at
Thank you.
that, Eric. That was one item that Trustee Dudek and I were able to connect about this here today, and he had inquired about that, a potential leasing option, or at least looking at it.
Thank you, Eric. I think you have your marching orders.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Courtney, roll call, please.
Weinhammer? Yes. Savili? Yes. Collier?
yes.
Galpine?
Yes.
Walrus?
Yes.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.